Yeah, hi guys, good morning. And in today's session, we'll discuss about Ansible Vault and Ansible variables. Okay, so these are the two important concepts in Ansible. So let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we have something called Ansible Vault. Any idea what do you mean by Vault?
Store secret things like to hidden,
Hidden in the sense what exactly you will be heading.
like secret files or everything.
Yes. So we have already used playbooks, right? So for example, if you have very sensitive data, I mean like username, passwords, and this you don't want these files to be exposed to other users, because whenever we work for project there will be multiple users who are working on the same playbooks or trying to execute same playbooks, right? So in that cases, I don't want my secrets to be exposed. I don't want the username and the passwords to be accessible to by the other user. So in this case, we use Ansible Vault used to hide the sensitive data. Okay, this will be asked in interviews 100% for sure. They will be asking about Ansible Vault. How can we store the credentials, or how can we hide the sensitive data? Understood what is Vault?
Yes.
So
Yes.
now, how can we create the Vault? For example, this is my Ansible controller. Okay, so we do have two different worker nodes, both are connected. Okay, so ls, for example, here we have one sample playbook. Okay, or else let me try to create one file. Touch passport. Okay, so this is my file. In this file, I am trying to store some credentials. Okay, for example, username equal to techie, password equal to developer0123. Okay, so this is my username and password what we have stored in my file, right? So let me save this. So now if I'll do cat, right, so anyone can access, because we haven't configured anything. I mean, there is no encryptions added to this particular file. So we have one command called Ansible vault encrypt and then file name, which file. So with the help of this command, what it will do, it will try to encrypt the content of your file, and no one can access this file until and unless they are aware of the password. Okay, so let me hit enter. So now it is asking to enter a password. So for example, my password is admin. It is again asking us to confirm the password again admin. Okay, encryption successful. So what we have did now, we were able to successfully encrypt our file where we have our secrets. Now, for example, if someone is logging into the server and trying to cat this particular file, right? See, he is unable to access the file. Whatever we are able to see, this is a kind of encryptions which has been added to provide security for our file. So without password, no one can able to access this particular file. Got it?
Yes. Only we can encrypted file or directory.
We can only encrypt a file.
Okay.
Okay, for example, now you want to view this particular file. You want to read the content of this file. So how we can read the content? For that we
Yes.
have command called Ansible vault view and then file name. Now it is asking for the password what we have configured. So my password was admin. Now you can see the username and password. So we can use Ansible Vault encrypt command to configure the credentials, I mean to encrypt our file, and view command is used to read the content of the file. For example, you have changed the password. Now how can you make the changes? For that we have command called Ansible vault edit and then file name. This is my file name. So it is again asking us to provide the password so that we can confirm and it will able to, sorry, we can able to edit the file. Okay, so the password is admin, then it will open the file. So now you can make the changes. Instead of DevOps 123, I have added it 0509. Okay, so let me save this. Now again, if you want to view, you can see view password admin DevOps at 050. So this is how you can keep on changing. I mean, if you want to make any changes, edit, update, then you can use Ansible vault commands. Clear?
Can we
Yes.
change
Yes.
Ansible vault password?
Yes. We can also change that. In the that will also be available, right? So I will also try to do that. Okay, and for example, okay, first let me try to change the password of my vault only. So I want to change this vault password. So Ansible vault rekey and then file name. It will ask for the password. It is, sorry, what was the password? Admin. Okay, it is asking to provide a new password. For example, DevOps at 123 is my new password. DevOps at 123 is my new password. See, rekey successful. Clear?
And Sabir bhai, if you want to directly go with the VI password after entering the password.
Let us see. What happened? So we cannot use VI and all. If you want to make any changes, then you need to go with Ansible vault commands only.
So if we try to erase that coded version, what will happen?
It will corrupt it. Your file will get corrupted and you will not be able to access your file.
Okay, so anyone can just go there on the file and just erase it, and it will be corrupted.
Try whether you can erase that and it will corrupt. Check what will happen.
And also, what is this Ansible underscore vault 1.1 under the cat password? Is it the version of
See,
Ansible vault?
no, that is something related to the algorithms which are used for the encryptions. AES 256 is the
Advanced
algorithm.
encryption, that is advanced encryption, yeah.
So that's the algorithm which is used for the encryptions.
All right.
Okay. And for example, now we have tried everything, right? So now I don't want to, I mean, I want to, guys, someone go on mute. So I want to remove the passwords for this. I mean, I don't want any kind of encryption. Someone go on mute. Okay, so I want to remove the passwords for this file. I mean, I don't want any kind of encryption. So for that, what we can do? We can use Ansible vault decrypt. So for encryptions, we have used encrypt, and for if you want to remove the encryptions, you can use decrypt and then file name. Admin. Sorry, my password was different. DevOps other 123. Okay, decryption successful. Now, if I am trying to do cat, I will be able to access the username and password. Okay, this is how we can use Ansible vault, and this vault we can inject inside our playbook like a variable.
So what if we forget the vault password in such cases?
If you will forget the vault password, I don't think so we can recover that. You need to be a good hacker in order to break that encryptions. If you were able to successfully break this encryption, then there is no use of this vault because there is no security for Ansible. Okay.
Yes.
Understood, guys? Or do you have any questions on this? This is very simple concept, but still very important. This will be asked in interviews.
Okay.
And then we have variables in Ansible. Okay. So what is the use of variables?
To give the value to certain context and all.
So basically variable is nothing but a placeholder which will try to hold a specific value for your playbook or for any template. Okay. So in Ansible we have different type of variables. First is inline variable. Okay. So first is inline variable. So let us see. So in inline variable directly defined within the same playbook means we are trying to store our variable inside the same playbook only, and also we are trying to define the variable as well, I mean the value for that variable. Okay, so let us see that example. So let me try to create one playbook. Playbook name should be variable.yml. Okay, variable. So how our playbook will start? 3 hyphens and then what should be
Space.
written?
Host.
What will happen if I not write any host name? Host using all. Okay. Here I am defining my variable sections. In this variable, since we are using our variable, right? So for example, so this is our variable sections where we are trying to define our variables related to our playbook. Okay. The name will be, for example, use variable name as name. Okay, then value as take. Okay, so this is my variable and this is my value. Okay. And then let me try to add some task. If sorry, settings to yeah, type on name and then display value. I'm trying to just print this value. That's it. Okay. So in order to print that particular value, what we can use? Which module can we use to print a specific value?
Debug.
Yes, debug. Debug spelling. Okay, so we can use debug value and variable, and then the name of variable is nothing but the name. So I'm just trying to display this name. That's it. Okay. So if you want to check this playbook, just have a look variable.yml. So here this is the name of the playbook, this is my host name, this is the variable what I am trying to pass as inline variable means I am trying to define the variable here as well as the value as well inside the same playbook. Okay, and then I'm trying to pass the task. So our task is to just to display the variable output. That's it. Okay. Now how can I check the syntax of this playbook?
Ansible hyphen playbook.
Hyphen
Then
syntax hyphen check.
then playbook name. Playbook name. Then syntax.
Spelling syntax spelling.
Okay, so our syntax is perfect. So let me try to execute this. So how can we execute this? Ansible hyphen playbook and then playbook. See, here it is trying to display the output. That's it. So these kind of variables are called as inline variables. Understood?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
చూడపా అందరు నిద్రపోతుంది సపోర్ట్ వస్తలేదు ఎవరిది.
Yes, Sabir.
So next variable is we have, for example, you have a particular file. Okay, so let me try to create one file. Touch variables dot yml. Okay.
Spelling.
Okay, if even this spelling is wrong because that's just a file name, right? Okay. Variables. So I'm just trying to create one file. Okay, so let me write this variable name. Second one is VATS file. So here, what we'll do? YAML file with all variables and include the YAML file in playbook. Okay, so in the VATS file, what we do is we'll try to create one YAML file and then we'll try to include this YAML file in the playbook. Okay, so here I'm just trying to create one YAML file. So in this particular one, I'm just trying to create the name as DevOps. Okay, and then for example, password or else let me use only one variable. Okay, so I'm just trying to inject one variable. So we can have multiple variables in this file. So I have created one variables.yaml and let me again get back to my playbook. Here, instead of hard coding this as inline variable, what I will do is I will pass the path. Then the file name variables.yml. Spelling VARI. Think this spelling VARIABLS. Okay, and then the variable name is same. So let us try to execute this. VA cat variable.yaml VARABLS. Yes. So let me try to execute this playbook now again. Playbook variable.yaml. So what will happen? So there is some spelling mistake.
Sabir bhai, in our
Yes.
file name variable you have right.
Oh, that's not something related to our variable file name, but that's related to the syntax. Okay, it should be rat underscore files because I'm trying to fetch a file right with the variable, so we need to use this particular module. Okay, and then let me save. Now let me try to execute, but before executing, let me just check my syntax. Okay, this time the syntax is okay. So let me try to execute this playbook. So what it should display? It should display as DevOps. See, it is trying to fetch our all the variables from that particular file. Okay, so this type of variables, what we call as var file. So here we can have 10 variables, 15 variables, n number of variables as per your playbook requirement. You can add all the variables in the same file and try to add this file in your variable. Similarly, our file variables in our Terraform. Okay.
Got it.
Yes, Saber.
Yes, sir.
And then we have command line variables. So command line means we can pass variables directly while executing playbook. Okay, for example, let me do one thing. Let me use same playbook, and here I am trying to change my parameters. Okay, so I can use a parameter called -e. This is for variables. And then what is the name of variable? Name of variable is name equal to test. This time I'm changing the variable name. Okay, and hit enter. Let us see what will happen. Okay, see, now we are able to see the name has been changed. So here in variables files already we have passed one variables which is in the this particular file outside our playbook. Now I am trying to replace them with the command line variables. So what is the precedence level?
Command line would be preferred.
Command
Preferred.
Yeah, so command line variables has been overridden. See -vvvv. Let us see if we can find
So
it.
that name is equal to DevOps has changed into
Yes.
name is equal to test.
Yeah, first it will override with, I mean, first it will try to print as DevOps and then it will try to override because of the precedence level. Here if you see read variables, it has tried to read and then it has replied with the command line arguments what we have passed. Okay, so this is one kind of variables. And again we do have one more variable that we called as prompt variables. Prompt for variables means it will interact with the user to enter the variables. Okay, it is trying to interact with the users to enter the passwords or any variables what he wants to enter. Okay, so how to do this? I mean, let us check this playbook. Let me modify my existing playbook only. Let me first delete this variables file. Okay, vi variable, this is my playbook, and here in this section we need to use vars underscore prompt. Okay, and then what should be your variable name? Variable name should be name, right? I mean, I'm trying to pass this variable name. For example, I'm trying to use horizon, and then I can write it should be replaced with the user, right? Name variable underscore name, and then it should ask the user to enter the password, sorry, enter the variable, enter a value for name, or else variable underscore name. So this one, this I am trying to capture from the user itself. Okay, so once done, And here let me call this variable. My variable, it is trying to store the value in this one. Variable underscore name. Okay, debug name host vax underscore prompt. Then this is my variable name. It is asking for the name. Okay, then it is trying to print the same name. Okay, I think we are good. Let me check. Let me first check the syntax. Syntax is okay. So now let me try to execute this playbook. So once executed, what will happen? It will ask for the user. See, enter a value for variable underscore name. So here I am trying to enter my variable horizon. Here you can see this. Okay, so this is how we can pass the variable. I mean, we can ask the user to please enter the username or password, whatever you want. You can communicate with the user, interact with him. Based upon his conditions, you can try to write that in your playbook. Clear?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then we have one more thing that we call as inventory variables. So inventories are not only used to store the public IPs or private IPs or the host name. So we can also use our inventory to store our variables as well. Be defined in inventory. Okay, so let me add this. So where is our inventory? What is the default location for inventory?
etc
DC?
Ansible.
etc/Ansible.
etc Ansible hosts.
Oh, okay. So here what I will do. So this is my group, right? Let me use sudo vi host file, and then let me try to add these variables. So for example, name equal to, so which name? For example, host variable. Or else let me do this way. So here name is worker02 and here name is worker01. I'm trying to pass two different variables here with the same name. Name is I mean the name of the variable is same but the value is different. Okay, so let me make changes in my variables file, I mean my playbook. Here we don't need all this thing. And what was the name? Name was name only. So let me save. Now let me try to execute the playbook. So before executing, just check the syntax. Okay, so there is no vads here. I'm just trying to add my variables. I mean, I'm just trying to call the variable in the debug module. Okay, so let me execute Ansible playbook and then playbook name. It should display as worker01 and worker02. See, the name is worker01 and worker02. So by default, it went to the inventory and from there it has picked the variables. So in inventory, how did we pass? Cat etc Ansible host. See, this is how we can also pass variables. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is this easy or difficult?
This is fine.
It is a piece of cake.
Okay, so this is, I mean, we have different type of variables what we can pass in our Ansible playbooks. Okay, then we do have something called loops in Ansible. For example, Ethel, you want to talk?
No, sir.
Okay, so we have something called loops in our playbooks. For example, we got one requirement that recently what task we have did, create 5 directories using Ansible, right? So what we have did, we have did a task called create 5 directories or 3 directories using Ansible playbook. So in this particular playbook, so what we can do, 3 hyphens, then hyphen name of the playbook, create directories using Ansible, and then our host is all. Okay, and then what we had, ask name, create first directory. What is the module we can use to create a directory?
Shell.
Sorry,
module.
guys, do
Shell.
not try to use shell. Shell we can use if you want to execute any command. Okay, don't always try to use shell only. We have modules which can help us to create directory.
File module.
File. Okay, and then what is the syntax for this?
Path.
Path of
Path of
Where we want to create.
okay, file, and then file, and then path is the submodule for this.
no parameter.
Yeah, parameter in the sense that's a submodule to 2 spaces path, for example opt. Okay, and then state equal to directory. Okay, and we can also add permissions. So this is one playbook. I mean, this is one task which will help us to create one particular directory. So if you want 3 directory or 5 directories, what we can do?
With item module. Count.
I need answers, guys.
Count equal to 5.
So count equal to 5, will it create?
No idea, Sabir.
I
Then
think we
what
can
we
add
have
with
did in your
items.
task?
With items.
You haven't completed your task on Ansible 02. Did all?
Yes, Sabir, it's still pending. I didn't complete.
I mean, on Saturday, everyone was working till 9:30 and you went at 9 o'clock
Yes.
without informing anyone. Okay. And then on Sunday, no one executed any task except Sheetal, Pallavi, House.
I
And
tried,
again,
Sabir.
now everyone is like, we are not aware of this. Then what you have did? We have wasted 2 days. Pallavi, how can I create 5 directories? So one way
Yes,
is
sir.
I can just copy same task. I can paste again and again. But what will happen? Here I can change the name of the directory. So here what will happen if I'll try to create same directory again and again? Create second directory. So we are just increasing the size of our code. I mean the number of lines of our code has been increased. And this is not something what a project will always look for. I mean the number of lines or the code should be very minimal and it should be more generic.
So we can use loops, no? By using loops, we can create, no?
In the end, we have to use loop.
Sorry?
At last, we have to use loop
Oops,
module.
yes. So I cannot just simply keep on adding 5 tasks for this playbook, right? So what I can do, I can write one task, okay, and then I can use loop, and I can use the name of that. Similarly, I can just keep on adding directory 3, directory 4, and directory 5. That's it. Okay, and here we need to add the so what it will do, it will try to pick the path from this particular, I mean directory 1, directory 2, directory 3, and it will try to create in this particular location, and it will try to add the permissions as 0755. Okay, so always make sure that you are using loops. I mean for same task you want to repeat it for 3 times, 4 times, then do not just keep on adding different tasks in your playbook. Try to use the concept of loop, similar to our for loops in bash scripting.
Okay,
Okay.
Sabir. Okay, Sabir.
Okay.
Guys, any questions?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes.
Sir, what is the simplest way to identify our errors instead of reading that error? Like, is there any way to identify like simply because it is becoming so tough?
See, it is becoming
For
tough because you
troubleshooting.
guys are reading unwanted details. Always try to read for the message block in that syntax. Whatever you can see on the screen, right, in red color. So try to check for the message field. Do not read the complete error. Try to read the message field, then you will get to know the relevant error, what is happening. For example, do we have anything? Or else let me try to create one playbook. Ansible playbook to create EC2 in AWS. So this is what we were trying to use in our recent task, right? Now let me just try to copy this playbook. Here EC2.yml. This is my playbook name. Okay, count is 1. Let me just execute this and see what we can find. See here, this is our error. So from this error, which particular line you will be reading?
First line message from message.
Yeah, so here you have this field called message. Here you can see unsupported parameters for EC2 module. Means if I'll try to cat my playbook, here you can see something called EC2. What is this? This is nothing but our AWS EC2 module, right? As per our ChatGPT. Okay. So here it is telling that this module is not supporting. Why? Because this module has been deprecated. New modules has been uploaded in Ansible documentation. At that point of time, you can go to the Ansible documentation. Go to this Ansible documentation, scroll down, then you can find some examples. Here you can find this module. So then try to make changes in your modules. Every time do not expect that there might be issues with your syntax only. There might be issues with the modules what we are trying to use. And also here it is telling that the parameters what we are trying to use to this module, right, like image id, public ip, access key, secret key, count, these are also not supported. Why? Because this module itself is deprecated and these parameters were related to that module. So for example, now what I will do, vi ec2.yaml, I will just scroll down. Okay, so I will try to replace this module with my latest module. Okay, after replacing, do not expect that these submodules will be working. There might be changes in the submodules as well. So you can always check for this. Here we have name, key name. Okay, key name, let us see. Okay, key name is still same. Okay, instance type, let me check, do we have anything? Yeah, instance type is also same. Okay, let me try to execute this now and let us see what will happen. There is some issue in the syntax. Now this is a syntax error. If you see this, you can find. So always check the next line below this name or the line before our name block. Okay, and here you can see this could not resolve module and action, means the parameters, there is no syntax error in this playbook. The error is related to our module only. Still there is no syntax error. Okay, here if you'll see amazon.aws.ec2_instance. After this we are trying to use lot of parameters, right? So there might be some parameters which are not required for our playbook and we are just trying to copy all the parameters. So if I'll remove this, then this playbook might work. So let us try. So I don't want region because this will be configured in our profile, right? Here if you see this image id, I don't want count, I don't want weight, I don't want VPC, group ID, even I don't want any public IPs, and even I don't want to capture this. Okay, so now let me try to run the playbook. Again, it's in the same instance or same module. Get et2.yaml. Key name, instance type, image ID. What is missing? Name is not mandatory. So image ID. Instance type is available. Image ID. Sorry.
AMID.
AMID also is available here. This parameter.
So in variables.
This one.
Yes.
Basically, see, we are trying to pass this variable. I mean, I haven't made any changes. It's the random one what we are trying to pick. Okay, so always check for the modules and the parameters related to modules. Do not rush for the syntax error only. Do not go for syntax errors. Every time it doesn't mean that there is some issue with your syntax. There might be issues with your modules as well. Okay, so try to check and try to read the documentation and try to fix. You should always try to make some changes and execute, check if it is working or not. If not working, then again refer the documentation. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
There's any questions?
అది ఇప్పుడు మెసేజ్ వచ్చిందల్లా మాడ్యూల్ ఎలారా
ఏంది
మెసేజ్ వచ్చిందల్లా మాడ్యూల్ ఎలారా
మళ్ళీ అట్లనే ఉంటారు ఏం చేయాలి మళ్ళీ తిరిగి మెసేజ్ వచ్చిందల్లా సింటాక్స్ ఎర్రర్ కాదు మెసేజ్ వచ్చిందల్లా మాడ్యూల్ ఎర్రర్ కాదు ఆ మెసేజ్ బ్లాక్ చదవండి read this message block, this part, read this field, then you will understand what's the error. Always check for the message block.
Saber, in the recent error, it's not taking the website content, right? AWS, can you scroll down? Yeah, so it's saying that couldn't resolve module action amazon.aws.ec2 underscore instance. So it's wrong. It's saying that that line is wrong.
No, here if you'll see this, this often indicates a misspelling, miscollection or incorrect module path. So if you'll copy this, then you will be installing some modules for your AWS. If I'll hit this in Google, okay, so here you can see this, install AWS community MI. So there might be some dependencies missing as well. If I'll execute this command, so what it will do, we have something called Ansible Galaxy. This part we'll try to see in our next session. Okay, so what it is doing, it is trying to download all the dependencies which are required for this playbook. Okay, now let me try to execute this. See, now our error has been changed. See.
Yeah, this is what I was asking. Right.
So now we got one more error. So check, the error was value error. So earlier what we were thinking that there is some issues with our syntax, right? So there is no issue with the syntax. How I got to know? By reading this message. Okay, now we got one more error. Error could not resolve module. Not this one. Error was value error, Ansible collections, plugins, EC2 specs is none. Module execution. Okay, maybe because of these parameters. Now if I'll change this one, ec2.yaml, okay, let me make these changes.
Sagar bhai, I think we can give AMI ID.
Yeah, let me try to make these changes. US East 1, T2 micro, and then AMI ID. Let me pass AMI ID. So let me use this AMI ID. Key pair, what is my key name? Let me just check. Key name is Ansible, so let me use the same key. I don't want any security group IDs. Let me delete this, let me delete this. Now we have our playbook ready, right? So now let me try to execute this. Again same error. So it is asking us to check for -vvv. So let us see what we can see from this. Self execute is configured. There is some error in the module itself. Let me copy this. Here we can see there is some similar error. Let us see. Or else let me use ChatGPT. Okay, so here when I have executed this, I mean I have copied this particular error in ChatGPT, then we can see some information related to our module itself. Okay, first it is asking us to upgrade the pip version. There is a tool it is recommended to you. Yes, okay, so let me try to make these changes. Okay, so we have latest one only, Python 3. Okay, now let me try to upgrade my collections related to Amazon. Okay, done. Now let me try to execute my playbook again. Still same error.
Above it said that pip not found. So
Yeah, pip
we
is already, see pip, basically I need to execute pip 3. This one. Okay, I need
For
to
AWS configure, did we have to do here?
that will be the different error, Swati. So it should tell me that unable to locate the credentials.
and after that it might ask about Boto core or Boto 3 also.
So why do we? What is Boto?
I just know that it's a prerequisite for the EC2 instance launch for Ansible.
That's a Python module which is used. I mean that's something related to AWS libraries. We have got our pip. So let me try to upgrade this and see what will happen. So always check, guys, always check ChatGPT, Google. Use both the references. ChatGPT database is up to 2021 only, so you cannot find the latest errors. So once this is upgraded, let us see whether this will help us to resolve our issue or not. Successfully installed. Now I am trying to execute my playbook. See, now again this message has been changed, means our pip upgradation was able to resolve the previous error. Now what we are able to see, failed to import the required Python libraries Boto core and Boto 3. Now what I can do, I'll just copy this message. I don't want the complete message, so I will just copy this message field, paste. So we already have our pip, right? So let me use this command and install. Okay, now let me execute my playbook. This time it should throw the error for the credentials. See, the Amazon.aws EC2 instance module requires a region and none was found in configuration. Okay, it means our our EC2 will execute now if I'll pass the region module. Understood how we are trying to encounter each and every issue? For example, let me again use EC2 user. Okay, here it is telling me that I'm using this region which is not available in my playbook. So let me delete this region. Now let me try to execute my playbook. This time required. Okay. Okay, let me add region. It is asking for a region. US East 1. Right, now let me execute. Okay, this time it is throwing the error to unable to locate credentials. Here if you see this, or else
I
where is
think
our
because of
message?
inverted commas.
Could not describe default VPC, unable to locate credentials. Not because of inverted commas, our playbook is working fine. There is no syntax error. That's only because I am trying to execute this YAML. Okay, this playbook. What this playbook is trying to do? This playbook is trying to create one EC2. So now there is no address for this playbook. Means where this should get executed, in which particular AWS account this EC2 should get created. For that, what my Ansible is doing, my Ansible is trying to check for the AWS configure. If you have configured this, then it will go to this default location and try to check for the credentials and execute. Or else another way is I can pass my variables in secrets, and that secrets can be passed in my playbook. Or else another way is I can use my variables here. I mean, I can add one variable called access key, one variable called secret. Okay, so these are the different type of variables how we can pass, right? So I can pass either by command line flags and all, and then it will try to check for that credentials, and it will go to my account, and then it will try to execute this one. It will try to create one EC2. So let me just try to copy this. Let me try to install AWS CLI. This is the recommended way. Instead of passing our credentials in playbook, I will always go for AWS configuration. This will be available in my machine only. This cannot be exposed to anyone. So once I have did the configuration, so it will ask for secret key and password, right? So let me go to my account. Where is this secret
Security
key?
credentials.
Security credentials. Let me deactivate this previous one. Okay, let me create new secret key and access key. Okay, now I will use AWS configure. My AWS configure is throwing error. You cannot import name doc events. AWS CLI. I connect to volume. See, there is some issue with the Boto, and Boto is responsible for our modules related to AWS. Okay, so let me check this. Now this time I'm unable to pass my credentials. Okay, let me copy this. Let me paste. Now let me do AWS configure. This time it is asking for access key. So where is my access key? This is my access key. And then it will ask for the secret. So this is my secret. And then it will ask for the default region. So I am using region US North Virginia. And then this will be JSON format. Now if I'll try to execute my playbook, this time this will create one EC2 for us. So now it is trying to look for the credentials from this profile. Our localhost, it has been changed. Now if I'll go to my AWS EC2 service, here we can see this is the newly created EC2. So this is how we can create our EC2 instance. Understood?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Guys, any questions? So
No, sir.
No, Sabir.
here under ఏం చేస్తారు? I mean, what you guys are trying to do? You guys are just trying to copy one playbook for ChatGPT. For example, this is the playbook trying to execute. If it is not running or not working, then you will be start blaming that it is not running. It is we are getting errors. We are getting errors. So stop complaining. Try to check for the answers. Okay.
Okay, Sabir. Got it.
Yes, sir. This video is very helpful. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Chalo guys, we'll meet again after some time. Okay. Bye. In tomorrow's session, we'll try to close Ansible. So we have left with Ansible roles and Ansible AWX, Ansible Tower AWX. Okay, so we'll try to close with this. Galaxy will be part of roles only, so not required. Okay. Chalo, bye.
Okay. Bye.